Hello, guys. Happy Friday. Thank you so much to everyone that has given me positive feedback around the video that I did on Sunday, talking about my emotional abuse journey. I'm trying to raise awareness on emotional abuse because I know that someone out there might actually find their healing by hearing a relatable story. And so, if you are one of those people that are still trying to understand what you're going through or can relate to what I'm going through and maybe still trying to pinpoint it, you can reach out to me via email. You can check the email on the channel. I can, talk it through with you, but also I can point you in the direction of professionals that have helped me and some that I've identified that are going to be able to help you figure out what's actually currently going on. But emotional abuse is complex. What I've picked up and I've found is that it all boils down to self love and our definition of love itself. And what I've realized having gone through my journey is that sometimes your definition of love is not what you actually think it is. Um, there's a lot of uh, things that are happening in our minds that we are not aware of. There's environmental factors. There's the way we were raised that have predisposed us to abuse because we have these weird definitions of love that we actually don't even know. So, like, for example, I told you my definition of love was essentially validation, even though I thought it was the Corinthians type of love in the Bible. I really was looking at one aspect of what I felt was being loved. So, us trying to unpack or saying what your definition of love should be might not actually help someone who's being emotionally abused right now. This is from my own experience. I think what might help is us pointing out what love isn't. And so, if you find that whatever I'm going to say today is something that is currently happening in your relationship or in your situation, then maybe you should be thinking about what your definition of love is. Because right now, if you're being emotionally abused, you've got this internal struggle between your mind and your heart. Um, because your mind is telling you you are in love, your heart is telling you you are in pain. And so you start to feel crazy and you start to think you are imagining things, because one thing that the emotional abusers like to do is to manipulate your mind to believing that what they are saying is actually true. They use the manipulation tactic a lot. It helps and serves them because it's never really about you. It's about them and what they can get from you. So I just wanted to give you a few of the things that I've realized and I've found in my own journey to be uh, what love isn't, so to speak. So one of the things that I struggled with in my situation was being able to bounce back after a fight, after having heard someone say things that are so hurtful to me that probably would only be hurtful to me. I wouldn't be able to come back and be happy. But what happens is the person who inflicted the pain is probably not there to care about how you then feel. They just want to move on and be happy and be in a comfortable position. It's not about you. So when someone is asking you to bounce back soon after a fight, or they haven't not given you time to deal with the emotions that were triggered by their verbal abuse, or their words, so to speak, that shows that they do not care about you. That is not love. Somebody that loves you would, even after hurting you unintentionally, sometimes even intentionally, give you the time. Be They are going to allow you to unpack whatever it is that you're going through. Because they recognize that there are consequences to every action, and they take responsibility as well to their part in it. But if they're just going to ask you to forget about it, or to quickly move on, and even persecute you if you earnestly say or lovingly say, I'm failing because I still don't understand why I'm hurting, because it's sometimes some things hurt and you just don't understand it. But just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's not happening or it's not true. You need to be able to deal with your emotions. So it's not love when someone asks you to quickly bounce back after a fight. It's also not love if someone pretends that something big didn't happen. What do I mean? You could have had a fight with them early in the morning before you had to go to work or school, and then when you come back, they are acting normal, like nothing ever happened. Um, they are dismissing or invalidating the fact that there could be consequences to the actions that happened prior to that. For me, that says it's not love. Because before you apologize, how can you be okay for us to go back into the routine of life? So if you find yourself in a relationship with someone that can, after a fight, hours later, where you've taken time apart, they come back and pretend nothing is happening, they are trying to serve themselves. They are not taking responsibility of anything. And if anything, they're the same person that will say you like dragging things along, because you're toxic. Because when you do bring it up, they will make it seem like you are the one who's being unreasonable or irrational, trying to break up things that happened 2 days ago or an hour ago or whatever time it was. And they and that probably would frustrate you to a point where you could become hysterical, and that they can also use as ammunition to say, if ever you wanted to take it public, you are toxic, you are the one who is always upset, and you sort of take away, you ruin happy moments, so to speak. But them not wanting to deal or allowing you to deal with the emotions that come up when there's a fight is actually toxic, and that is not love. There's also a part where if someone is going to be constantly reminding you when of the things that they are good, that they're good at. Say, for example, I don't cheat. I always hold your hand. Whatever it is that they do, or they're not physically violent with you. If they constantly do this when you share your feelings, when you share how hurt you are, it means that they are trying to use those good things as a manipulation tactic. So them not cheating or not physically abusing you is not love. Them doing that is manipulation, because they're going to use that they're going to use that information to manipulate your support structure. So when you go and talk to your friends about, well, he's not treating me well, they'll be like, but he doesn't cheat, he doesn't hit you, what's wrong? What's your problem? Because how he presents with us is like he's perfect or she's perfect, or um, what is wrong with you? So that is not love, when someone does things that they always bring up. So don't ever be fooled by someone who doesn't cheat or does not do some things that you deem to be not love. Sometimes they just do it because it comes naturally to them. It's also not love when somebody apologizes, and then they love bomb you. Love bombing is very interesting to me because it's something that I learned after a situation. Is Think about someone who does things that they normally wouldn't do for you if you just asked. So, for example, maybe they don't actually like doing the dishes, or maybe they don't actually like buying flowers or whatever. It's not because they can't, it probably comes naturally, but they withhold it because they know they will need to use it when you are upset, or when you've reached a point where you want to call it quits. So they they will start doing all those things for you immediately after a fight, and that can work for them, because your mind is going to register as, oh my god, they don't like doing this, but they're doing it for me, so they must love me, and so I must come to the table and just forgive them. So you need to realize that sorry must come with amends, and not love bombing. Because when sorry is coming with love bombing, or sorry is coming with no amends, that is not love. And then one thing, the last thing that I wanted you guys to really understand is when someone imposes their perceptions on you, they're saying your opinions don't matter, your feelings are invalid, you know, because when everyone has their own perceptions based on the way they were brought up, based on a lot of environmental factors. There's a lot of reasons why we perceive things the way we perceive them. So if someone is always saying that your perception is bad, you are you shouldn't be seeing or hearing the things that you hear, and telling you what you should understand from what they're doing. They're imposing their perceptions on you, and therefore they're invalidating whatever you're feeling and saying that there's no room to even discuss why you would feel that. Remember, that is not love. Someone who loves you wants to understand how things affect you. So with emotional abusers, sometimes they know what hurts you, and they will say the things that hurt you so that they can manipulate you to do what they want. But sometimes they don't even care what hurts you. They will just hurl curses and they'll verbally abuse you. They just don't care if, the psychopaths, the narcissists, they just don't care how that is going to affect you. All they want is for that to have an effect and for them to move on. So recognize that a person is not looking out for your heart, and that even if they say flowery words, even if they then do nice things for you afterwards, what they've done or their actions are actually proving that there is no love there. So just before I go, I just wanted you guys to remember. It's a quote that I actually read yesterday that just resonated with this topic. Actions prove who someone is. Words just prove who they pretend to be. Do not be confused by words. I know I'm saying this because I right now I feel like I'm at a better position to see manipulation in its realness, but it's very difficult when you're in it. When you're outside, you can actually see, oh my God, this conversation is a manipulative one. But when you're in it, you need to look out for actions. You need to remember to follow or to listen to your heart. Your mind has logic, yes, but your heart will never let you down. Your heart will tell you exactly what you're feeling, and you must be able to confront those feelings and use that feeling to deliberate and say, okay, how is this person acting around me? Is it the same as what they are saying? And if it's not, you are in an abusive relationship. I just wanted to also say that emotional abuse is not going to happen with your romantic partners only. You're going to be emotionally abused at work. You're going to be emotionally abused by your friends. You're going to be emotionally abused by your family. So people that are predisposed to emotional abuse will find that somehow there's so many other relationships, or for example, for me, I found that there's so many other relationships that I was keeping that were emotionally abusive because I was the same person, and the responsibility is on you as the victim now to empower yourself, to understand what is it that you're allowing that you shouldn't be allowing. And that begins with knowing yourself, being aware of what makes you sad, what makes you unhappy, and being able to lovingly communicate it and set boundaries for yourself in these relationships. Again, I will say, just because you do not understand what's happening, or that you cannot explain it to the next person in the way that they will understand, doesn't mean that it's not happening. So don't wait for the words to sound right so that you can tell somebody, or for so that you can start your journey of healing. You just need to know it yourself that something is wrong. When you are happy, you know it. When you are sad, you know it. Believe yourself, and let's embark on the self-love journey together. um this is what Relatable Stories is about. Self-love is not just going to be about the emotional abuse. It's there's so many areas for growth that we need to consider, and that's why as people share their stories, how they were they came out of different situations, you can realize that there's things that you have or thought processes or patterns that you have been carrying in your life that have not been serving you, and you need to start policing those thoughts and removing what is not serving you. I hope that this video has been helpful for somebody. Reach out to me, follow us, subscribe, share with anybody that you think might be benefiting from it. I hope to see you soon.